Hello everyone and welcome. I am New Caliber and today I want to try something a little different. I want to do a little uh, produced from the live, letter from the producer live reading. So this is part 53. They put some stuff up on the forums. Apparently this happened yesterday while I was streaming, so I missed it completely and saw it last night and decided this would be fun just to go through this, give my thoughts as I check the Q&A, and hopefully we got some good questions. I know in the past sometimes there are not good questions, but if I remember right, this was not NA questions, so we have a good shot here. So let's just hop right into it and see what we got. I already see the word ninja here, so I think we're good. Okay, question 1. As a ninja player in Savage, when comparing DPS with other melee DPS, I feel like the potency increase of Gut Slash was not enough for our overall damage. Our damage feels lacking for the amount of difficulty when playing the job. Any plans for ninja adjustments? Yeah, that was kind of a meme, the 50 potency Gut Slash. uh, okay, the answer was many players provided feedback regarding Ninja, so we touched on the topics via a press. Oh, they had a slide. They actually they prepared a slide for this. Wow. The development team believes the following 3 points are the main issues. Ninjutsu and Mudra combinations are being disrupted by GCD timing, causing clunkiness. Uh, that's something I would have no idea about. I've never played Ninja, but if it feels clunky, that would be nice to change that over. Let's see. Ninjutsu is easily influenced by lag. Yes, everyone knows that. And we were reaching a limit as to how we could adjust it, so we're planning to restructure Ninjutsu itself. Wow. So the playstyle of putting together Mudra will remain, but they will not be weaved between the GCDs. Instead, we are thinking of the playstyle will be along the lines of combo, ninjutsu, return to combo. Huh. So they would put it on the GCD if they don't want it to be weaved. However, this adjustment would require readjusting Ninja's entire DPS, so we were unable to make the adjustments in time for patch 5.05. Therefore, these adjustments will be made in patch 5.1. Wow, so they're going to go for an actual rework in a point 1 patch. I mean, they've done it before with Warrior last expansion, but I don't know if it was anything this severe. Too many inputs are required to perform the rotations for maximum output damage. Okay, yeah, we knew that. Uh, Ninja had, I don't know if how it compares to Summoner right now, but it had a complicated pressing buttons all the time. You gotta weave, you gotta do everything, and you're still barely above Dancer. Party utility of Trick Attack and Ninja's total damage output needs to be balanced. We will be increasing Ninja's personal damage in 5.08. However, Trick Attack has a lot of influence over Party's DPS, so the values will be adjusted with this in mind. Additionally, as mentioned above, please keep in mind that these adjusted values may be readjusted in 5.1. Okay, so in 08, they're going to do some emergency tinkering, but it looks like they're going to try and keep Trick Attack where it's at. They like the identity of Trick Attack for ninjas, which that's fine. Um, that was actually really in depth for just a Q&A question, but they prepared a slide so they knew it had to have been coming. Okay, oh, wow, we're just getting all the jobs right here. Okay, as a samurai, a pure DPS without party utility, I feel like we should be able to output more DPS. Also, conditions using Shoha is difficult to use in real situations. Hakagure's effect is a bit lacking as well. Please let us know what your plans are moving forward. First, in regard to Shoha, we agreed that there are very few situations it can be used. In patch 5.05, we were unable to make technical adjustments to the programming, so we are scheduling changes for 5.1. We are hoping to allow meditation stacks to be accumulated through different means. We believe Hakagure was the cause of the skill rotation becoming too difficult, so we intentionally did not want to return Hakagure to the skill rotation. However, it was added back added back with its current value to address the request regarding controlling Sen for cases such as dungeon boss fights. Samurai's Burst is designed around benefiting from receiving party buffs from other party members. Black Mage is balanced around being the only caster without raise and party buffs. We believe Samurai is also in a similar situation, so its potencies will be slightly adjusted in 08. However, please bear in mind the possibility of it being readjusted again in 5.1. Okay. So how many buffs are there that tie directly to melee? Are there? Because that makes it sound like that Black Mage is supposed to be higher than Samurai because it's a caster. Which, I mean, I guess because Black Mage has to stand still. Huh. Yeah, I'm not... I wonder how far that they think Samurai should be below Black Mage. I don't know, I guess I just don't look at it... I mean, I don't play Samurai, but the way I don't look at it as Samurai and Black Mage as melee and caster, which maybe I should. I look at it as Samurai and Black Mage being the selfish DPS. So if a group has a choice of taking a selfish DPS, it doesn't have a choice of being like, well, I don't know, because every group wants a caster. But I guess you don't technically need one as long as you're not duping jobs. It'd just be easier on gear. I don't know. But that's interesting. 5.1 seems to be a pretty big patch. Oh, wow. Okay. Summoner has many buttons to press and is very busy. Yeah. Additionally, it bothers me that refreshing dots at the timing you activate Dreadword causes the dots to fall off for a few seconds, even when using Tri-Disaster. Are there any plans to reduce the amount of button pressing or the adjusting the duration of dots? I'm trying to think. There's one point in the rotation, I think, where you have to reapply the two dots individually, I think. It's like once every 3 minutes? Is that right? So it's not that often. Everything else, it's try disaster and then refreshing try disaster through Phoenix and Dreadworm Trance. I don't really have a problem with that. Thing I do have a problem with is all the weaving that has to be done, which I think would be so much nicer if the Eggy Assault was just one button or something. The dev team is working on adjusting the difficulty of needing to press so many buttons. Regarding dots, we've received lots of feedback saying that players would like dot durations extended, but we are instead considering reworking the potency of ruin spells to be higher dependent on the number of dots inflicted on the target. This is still being considered, and if we decide that it would be effective, we will implement it in 08. Ninja, Samurai, and Summoner are high priority for changes, but they are still in progress. Yeah, I don't really know. I do wish Summoner lost something and then they just added potency to everything or something else to make up for it. Because as of right now, you have to get the Eggy Assaults depleted, then you have to Fester, and then you also have, I can't even think of the skill right now. You've got the buff from the Eggy, and then all I can think of is Ifrit's Dot. So you've got all that. What is that? 5 skills that you need to weave constantly. It's just a lot, especially if your ping's not great. Okay, let's see. Question 4. Bard was made easier to manage in 5.0, but since the number of songs hasn't increased, the job seems to be lacking any party support. Do you have any plans on songs? I thought Bard was in a really good spot, actually. In patch 5.0, we removed most of the party synergy effects, but left actions such as Nature's Min to differentiate it from Machinist. Giving Bard more party utility would make Bard closer to Dancer, and would require Bard's damage to be lowered. The current situation is that some party utility has decent damage. However, we will consider player feedback. Yeah, I thought ranged was in a good spot. Maybe Dancer needed a little buff, and I think Dancer needed a little buff, and if I remember right, Machinist had some timing issues, or the Queen's startup time needed to be a lot faster, because when you summon it, apparently it's like really slow. Thanks for the adjustment towards astrologians. Both the controllability and healing potency has increased, and it feels much better. Do you have any plans on new card effects? We are truly sorry about the initial issues with the feel of the job. That said, card effects were changed to the current iteration because we received feedback from all regions that players did not want useless cards. It does indeed lower the feeling of drawing a good card, but if we make certain cards significantly more powerful than others, then we just return to fishing for the good ones, so we decided to simplify it. We plan on continuing the style for now. I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion. I I think it's like kind of split, but the new card system I prefer to the old system. I That is not as any sort of difficult savage healer. I just as like a extreme mode, and then everything else duty finder healer. The old card system was not my cup of tea. Uh, just either balance or arrow all the time. Just you wanted AOE balance, or you wanted AOE balance, priority number 1, or any sort of balance. And then there was a couple jobs that wanted arrow, and even then some jobs hated arrow, and it just screwed them over completely. So I don't really know about that. And then bowl could be useful in situations, but otherwise, no. Okay, thanks for the major updates to PvP in 5.0 and 5.05. I'd like to hear any future PvP adjustments. Okay, yeah, I have no idea what PvP's been up to. We received a lot of feedback that there aren't enough actions, so we plan on increasing the number of actions to 16 in 5.1. Wow! Additionally, in patch 5.1, we are planning to introduce new content. The team is... Oh, Seal Rock 2. Ooh. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, I haven't played since Steel Rock. I remember I played a ton of Steel Rock back when it was out. Steel Rock was so good. Steel Rock was... I still can't believe we don't have a team deathmatch. Back when it was Steel Rock and... oh, I can't even think of what the other one's called. Where you have to climb up to the top of the tower, destroy the nodes, and capture the flag. It's capture the flag, basically. Or base holding, or whatever. That was really good. Maybe I can get back into PvP, depending on how queue times work. There were no tank-related adjustments in patch 5.05. Are there any plans to adjust them? I think the balance is there, but some adjustments for warriors' damage. I don't believe there are any difference between the tanks considered major disparities. With that being said, we are looking at Savage feedback to see if there's anything we are overlooking. We'll continue making adjustments. Okay. I'm trying to think of what I've heard from tanks. I think people were saying warrior might need like a % increase in DPS. And I don't know, I've heard like differing opinions on Dark Knight as a whole. Some people say it needs more, some people say it's fine, so I'm not sure on Dark Knight. But I've definitely heard that Warrior is like maybe a percent behind everyone else, which that's nothing huge. But I mean, if it's something they can fix, then especially if they look at the Savage data, that should be fine. Shadowbringers was incredible. I was amazed by how it answered some main mysteries, such as the Ashen's objectives, Warriors of Darkness, Crystal Exarch. How long have you been thinking about the story? Ooh, this will be interesting. Thinking back to when the Warrior of Darkness first appeared in 3.x, we didn't have the plan set. When we were thinking how to wrapping up the foreshadowing of the Warrior of Darkness, we decided it would involve Ophelia of the Source traveling to become its savior. And from there, we decided the Warrior of Light would eventually travel to the First and come up with the proceedings including saving the First. However, even at that point, we hadn't decided when we would do this. We wanted to mark the conclusion of the story of Doma, Alamigo, and the Garleans in patch 4.0, so we finally decided that we would do it 2 weeks after Stormblood released. Wow, 2 weeks after Stormblood is when they decided, okay, we've got to go to the First to fix that. I wonder how they come up with that. If they, if that's like Yoshi P and Oda San's thing with Koji and all them, if they like sit down after release and like, okay, let's hammer this out now. Where are we going? And then they tell their main scenario writer, or they like then they pick someone to be their main scenario writer, or if they pick someone first and then bring them in, it's like, hey, what do you want to do? That'd be kind of interesting to know what's the order in that. Okay, when riding the trolley in Amarang, I was amazed the tracks were going through the same hill heading toward Camp Horizon in the source. I'd like to hear more on other fields that connect to the source to the First. Wait, that's the same hill heading towards Camp Horizon? I did not know that. As the patch 5.x series has just begun, we won't elaborate on this for now. I did not know that. That's actually something really cool to know. That's the same. I'm gonna have to check that out in game. Okay, question 10. Wow, this is gonna be a long video. Okay, I thought there were a lot of cool things that combine systems and lore, like how the Crystal Exarch calls forth heroes from before fighting the last boss. Fea'ul taking on the role of retainers. How did these ideas come to life? World lore creator, main scenario writer Oda will be coming to Gamescom. Main scenario writer Ishikawa and lead artist Suzuki will be featuring PAX West. We might touch upon those at those events. Okay. Regarding the lore of the First, Oda and I discussed the Warrior of Light would be able to carry with them crossing over to the First and decided the Warrior of Light could bring over items they considered personal belongings. This would not include retainers, so as Fea'ul was born in their place, Oda will probably talk about the details again. Okay, Gamescom. I was amazed by the detailed expressions in the 5.0 cutscenes, such as eye movements. I'd like to hear what kind of challenges and improvements were made to the cutscenes this time. Yeah, there was a step up, but I don't think there was anything new. We increased the quality of cutscenes starting from the 4.x, yeah. New staff joined the team for development of 5.0, and they told the story in a 14-esque sort of way. I think that influenced it. Ishikawa will probably talk about the finer details. Cool. I'm actually really excited for those two then. In the future, we will be able to take our trust into 5.1 and later main scenario quest dungeons. I really liked the Exarch, so I'd like to fight alongside him once again. Also, I like to see new NPCs such as Estinian and Hien added too. Yeah, I wonder if... I guess I should read the answer first before I say anything. Regarding trust, we had many ideas such as fighting primals together, changing Castrum Meridium and Praetorium into 4-player instances in battle alongside Raban. Oh my gosh, that would be a godsend. However, we cannot possibly implement all of them. So in patch 5.1, we made it so that you can go to the new MSQ dungeons with trust. We also plan on making MSQ dungeons work with trust in future patches as well. As a side note, while progressing in the MSQ in 5.1, they will come with you as part of the story, so you don't have to worry about having to level them up. Oh, okay, that was my question. I was wondering, would they have to be up to max level before you could use them in point 1, point 2, so on and so forth? But no, you won't. Okay, that's good to know. Good to know. Were the sandwiches in the MSQ made by the X? Oh my gosh. Okay, that's peaches. I don't know, just eat them. Okay. Good peaches question. I loved Emmett Selk. Are there any plans to further dive into his past? Where did they get, like, who asked these questions? Obviously, we're going to delve deeper into the Ascian's past, but he died, so I assume we'll probably see more of him in cutscenes, but I think we'll see more of the situation of what befell them. It's a story we've only seen from one perspective so far, so please think of it as a surprise for later. Like, do people just think, oh, okay, no more Ascian stuff. We're not going to figure it out anymore. Yoshi P, which of the main protagonists in Shadowbringers is your favorite? I really liked Runar. Oh, Runar was cool. The way he cares deeply for Y'shtola really moved me, and through him we see another side to Y'shtola's personality. His voice actor was amazing. I didn't listen to the Japanese, but the English, he was pretty good too. And his whole arc was really good in that story. I also liked Thancred's comments when battling against Ranjit. We wanted to make the nature of his emotional attachment much clearer, and we were very particular about how he collapsed after the battle. The animator first came up with something where he fell down naturally, but it looked uncool, and I felt he wouldn't fall down like that even if no one was looking at the time, so we adjusted it. See, I don't know. I don't like how they did that ending of the battle because it was very this is the end type of feeling for me at least, where he did his duty, and Thancred's story was one of he's never getting Minfilia back. His Minfilia, he regrets goofing off when she was younger, so he's been trying so much to make up for it. And I always figured that he wouldn't ever get that chance, which I guess he didn't. But now he gets to be a dad to Reen, and I just thought that at that moment when he beats Ranjit, that he was going to die. Like, they made that, I don't know, it seemed very clear that, like, this is it. And then he just comes back, you come back, and he's just sitting on the steps. That was like a weird little moment. I also liked Irion J. There's a scene where he confronts another character where we get to show his gentler side, as well as touch on the burdens he's carried up till now. Remembering what that scene still moves me. Again, I felt the voice acting was amazing. Yeah, Irion J was really good. I wonder if eventually there's going to be a part in the story where our character or the Scions in general come up and they're like, Irion J, you need to stop doing what you're doing. You're doing things in the shady way all the time. He did the Warriors of Darkness. He helped the Crystal Exarch keep a secret, and now he's doing something with Thancred in Eden. Like, the dude cannot help but just do things like, oh hey, by the way, keep the secret. I'm gonna go off and do my own thing. Don't tell anyone though. That's such a weird, like, that's got to come up at some point, I think. As before, all the new music tracks were amazing. I would like to know if there were any songs that were challenging to compose or left some memories. Yeah, the music in Shadowbringers rocks. Soken, of course, it was Shadowbringers. It was originally released at FanFest. This February, we released a different version in Paris, and finally, we have the current version. 3 different versions, so many memories. Isn't that different versions? Like, I knew the last version, the actual version was different. I didn't know the first 2 were different as well. Oops. In Eorzea Encyclopedia 2, it mentions that the statues found within Amdapor were made in the image of transcendent beings from yet another plane. Was this referring to the Sin Eaters from the first? In a sense of, if you look back at the lore book, you'll notice certain things. We did this intentionally. Yep. Okay. That's good to get confirmation on that. When are you planning to release the next Beast Tribes? 5.1. Actually, where are all the Beast Tribes in Ilmeg? there's the Nemo. The fairies might be one, I guess. The Amuro. I don't know if you'd even consider them a beast tribe. Who else is left? Is there anything in Calusa? Dwarves. There's nothing in Amarang. There's nothing in Ratika. Maybe the Ondo. The Ondo, okay, in Tempest. Okay. After trying out Eden, I was shocked by the Warrior of Light's imagination. How on earth did they come up with this version of Titan Levi? Or are they about to say that are they going to confirm that the Warrior of Light might be a little brain damaged? Maybe it was something like Leviathan, it was in 2.1, 2.2. He was attacking from two locations. Was that a head? A tail? I think that mixed up with the Shinryu mechanic and became something like that. Perhaps the Wandering Minstrel also influenced by how the Warrior of Light described them. And that's why things turn out to be so difficult. Titan is likely due to Thancred bringing up the topic of falling, which probably got mixed in with the explosions and the goblin tanks. Okay. So yeah, it's just like it's been a little while. I wish they would give a canonical answer of how long it's been since 2.1 and 2.2. Because I know they said it's going slower than what actual life is. Okay. LIII? From the Ratika Greatwood BGM is stuck in my head. I'd like to know what the lyrics are. I'll leave it up to your imagination. I honestly don't know. Wow, okay. The MSQ was great, but so were the Crystal Mean Quest. Will they continue? They are completed for now. Alright. Machinist is new. Automaton Queen is super cool. However, the job quest didn't really explain why Machinist suddenly can call out this robot. Please explain it in lore as well as scholars Seraph. Oda will probably talk about it. I won't, so I won't for now. Personally, I want to support the theory I saw on Twitter on how the turret tried its best to turn into an automaton. Yeah, I figure all that stuff, like, I'm interested to know about that too, especially things like Despair and all of that for Black Mage, and Phoenix for Summoner. I expect all that to be in Lore Book 3, so I'm not worried about never getting those answers. The Amrat Arari in Tempest is beautiful. There's a very tall building outside of the accessible southern area. Will we be able to visit it? The entire city is a mirage, so you can't go there. To be frank, we haven't even made it. Please think of it due to the limitations of its architecture and the development team. Okay, yep, so it's not even really there. Same thing if you go out of bounds in any of the ARR zones. It's all flat images. Okay, and that was my mic cutting out, so I hope that didn't affect anyone too badly. Is there any way to tell the difference between male and female dwarves? No, there isn't. We don't need to. Okay, yep. I'm curious what meal tastes like. Oh, Lord. Is there any food in the real world that would taste similar? I think this varies for each person, but personally, when I was checking it, I thought it was just bread. When you go to the bakery, there's a moment where you see something and you're like, I have to have this one. It's kind of like that. It's probably very sweet, or probably sweet. I think what you imagine as, I have to have this, is what mule is. Though, if you eat it, you might become a forgiven. Yeah, it's like the forbidden snack. The Protectors of the Wood side quest in Ratika Greywood mention Koyuros and Namazu. Although Koyuros can be seen in the first, haven't seen any Namazu. Will they be appearing at a later time? There's a possibility that Namazu are on the first already, but there's always a chance of the survivors. I guess only Oda would know the truth. Okay, so they don't know if they've been wiped out or not. I haven't gotten to the side quest in the Great Wood, so that's actually interesting. Learn about Koyuros and Namazu in there. Okay. Is the dancer in the opening trailer Lena? I'd like to see her dancing while wearing the artifact set. The rough sketch of the opening movie was first drawn in September of 17. Wow. Dang, that's a long time ago. At this time, we only intend to show the new jobs and new races. However, it seems like over the course of developing the MSQ, they made Lena similar to the character shown in the video, so we didn't intend for it to be the same character. but I don't know if the lore. I don't know how the lore will be in the future. Okay, so it wasn't the trailer was the same as Lena. It's Lena's the same as the trailer. But September 17, that means they're about to start working on the rough sketches of 6.0's cinematic right now. Due to the loot changes in Savage, we're seeing disagreements between pickup groups over loot. For someone like me without a static, I'm worried I won't be able to get any gear aside from exchange items. Do you have any plans to adjust the loot system? On the other hand, there's also a chance that you win all the loot, so it's quite difficult. In terms of sheer probability, the current system should come out on top. I think it's at least better than having items drop for a role no one plays. So I think I'll leave it for now. Yeah, I think someone did the math, and it's like, it's not much, but it's like a 3% increase of chance that you're going to get something this way than the old version. I think it was like 10%, 10-ish% chance if they kept the old style, and it's like 12.9 or 12.8 or something like that with coffers. I think it's just like a mind trick. Like, you don't really think about the item that was like, oh, that's not my roll, so whatever. But when you're rolling for every single coffer and you're losing, that feels worse. But yeah, I think that's just something you have to think about and look past. Like, okay, it's been 3 weeks, I haven't got anything. That sucks. But eventually I will get something based on probability. With the addition of more jobs, it's become harder to get desired weapons from extreme trials. I would like the system to be changed to something similar as to those of Eden. We discussed this before patch 5.0, and we thought perhaps with the current difficulty of extreme trials, you'd probably see what you'd want within 10 clears. But when I personally ran it 15 times, I didn't see what I wanted, so maybe it's not good enough is how I currently feel. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of get that because I don't run extreme trials for mounts. I don't. Mount farming to me is something that is content I enjoy doing unsynced because otherwise I would never go back to extreme trials. So yeah, unsyncing trials is where I get enjoyment for farming for mounts. But if you currently farm for mounts when they first come out, then of course you'll get your weapons no problem. But for people like me who don't care about the mount, yeah, I don't even know how I feel about that. Because if you just run it, you're bound to get stuff for even your alt jobs. Even if you don't get the one that you're on, you're bound to get your alt job eventually. At least in my opinion, especially if you get a group that's farming. So I don't really know. Whether it's 10 clears or 15 clears, if you're in a farm group, or if you're on farm, 5 pulls doesn't really matter to me. So, who knows? If they put it down to a coffer, then you'd be doing 8 runs for a farm versus the 10 for a turn-in, is it? Yeah, so what's 2 runs, honestly? Do you have any plans to ease Eureka so weapons upgrade progression can be done smaller parties or solo? Something we're currently discussing. We haven't made a decision yet, but we may add new Logos actions. Yeah, I'm still stuck in Pagos, so Logos actions won't really help me. I'll go back to Eureka when it is soloable from Pagos. Until then, I'm not messing with any of it. Is it a bug that we can change our directions during jump? Is it going to get fixed? I believe there's various opinions regarding this, but personally I am enjoying it, so I would like it to remain untouched. Dragoons can currently change their direction during jump. If this becomes a sort of necessary technique, we may disable this on the Dragoon's jump actions. The normal jump won't be changed. Thank you. The normal jump spin is so much fun to do that it's one of my favorite changes of the expansion. When going through fates in a new area, I tend to cap out on bicolor gems quickly. Can you increase the cap? We've noticed it's inconvenient that you tend to cap out before you rank up and unlock more items. Currently considering adjustment. Thank you. Thank you. The way I'm going about it, I'm gonna have so many bicolor gems that I'm gonna have to just stock up on crafting mats from Ondo Cups. Just I'm gonna have a ton of cubic flesh. I'll say that. Will we ever see Vieira and Hrothgar recruits for the squadrons? Currently being considered. Sure. Plans to add a feature to recruit or search free companies. They talked about this before. Yeah, the circles. Currently coming up with circles. It will be less restrictive than link shells. You can create it for certain activities, which you can register for, and it will send you notifications. So, like, this is let's say this is a blue mage skill circle. So anytime anyone in that circle is like, "Hey, it's time. Let's go. Blue mage farm time." Everyone can go, "All right, let's go. I'm ready to blue mage. I joined this specifically for blue mage farming." I think that'll be really cool for synced content. If you want to go back and do old content synced or minimum item level, I think circles, the way they're describing it, will be really cool. Any plans for Deep Dungeon and 5.x? Still secret. Probably. I'd assume that they wouldn't. That there's no way they wouldn't do a Deep Dungeon type thing. Beard on Cure shown in patch notes and benchmark is cool. Any plans to give an option? Trying to add this as an option, but it's not something that can be easily done. It was something that required specifically a Huron face male face pattern. However, it may take time, as we'd like to make it work somehow. Yeah, trying to think about the technical things of it. How would you even do that? Especially because there's some sort... Because you have to do it for every race, every male race face. And you'd have to make it so it's like on the face, like directly touching the face at all given points. So I'm sure that's a lot of how do I want to put that? A lot of meticulous looking and fixing. Use Fantasia to change to Vieira, and I'm enjoying it, as they're a special race, and it may not be possible. I feel like the number of hairstyles available for Vieira and Hrothgar is quite limited. Do you have any plans to add more in the future? Of course, we plan on adding more, so please wait for future patches. However, it will still be race specific, so there won't be as many selections when compared to other races. That's kind of disappointing. I mean, that's probably why they took this question, just to say, like, hey, hairstyles that new races get, when you see it in patch notes, don't expect those to be Vieira and Hrothgar. Those are just going to be for the other races. But who asked a question, do you plan to add more hairstyles in the future? Like, of course they're going to say yes. They're not going to say, no, we're done. Please allow us to use the Great Hunt Extreme undersized, so I can go with more friends. Currently being worked on. Great. No one's going to do that synced. I was really disappointed when that was not unsyncable. In Tempest, the music doesn't change even when you enter battle. I imagine this is intentional, since large-scale fate changes the music. I'm curious to the reason behind this. Intended to offer the atmosphere of a quiet seafloor, with foam appearing and foreshadowing incoming danger. Some may have noticed that unlike other areas, the entrance is bright, but it generally grows darker as you go further. I think we'll be talking about this as PAX West as well. Yeah, I know. Honestly, I thought it was a bug that there was no music in Tempest. But that's good to know that they thought something like that would be cool. Okay. Will there be an extreme version of the last boss? Okay. Yep. The level sync feature in the 5.0 5-point side quests were very helpful. Will they be added to the older stuff? I understand how you feel, but okay, so no. That's why New Game Plus. Yeah, there's no way they're going to go back through all the old stuff and redo that. Like to know about Restoration of Isgard. Take away topics from future live letters. Please look forward to it. Regarding apartments, it might be fun to make them Amarat or Crystarium themed. That would be cool. I don't use my apartment though, so I don't really care. I feel like time and effort decent. The returns don't match. Do you have any plans to make changes? Okay, I'm actually in the middle of almost getting my decent up in goldsmithing. Making large changes to Disciples of Hand and Land related systems in 5.1. Desynthesis rates will be changed to be 100% guaranteed. Oh my god. No need to level up skills. Oh. Desynthesis will be something used when you have a surplus of something. That's the plan we have in mind. I'll provide... Okay. Alright then, I'll just start hoarding items then, I guess. That's fine with me. Because I was... ever since the game came out, I only really leveled Desynth in Goldsmith. I got too far behind in Weaver, which was what the other one that I was doing. So it's probably like cap for like ARR. It's so far behind. So if it's gonna make everything like just take away the levels, and that's fine. More people will be rolling greed on stuff, but that's whatever. That's fine for me. I feel like the amount of resources required to craft materials needed for Weaver is higher than other classes. Yeah. I would like to see some adjustments made, such as lowering the number of threads required for certain cloth. We are planning adjustments for certain recipes that aren't well balanced. That's fantastic news. As a gatherer, it's frustrating when monsters appear near gathering nodes, especially in the Greatwood. I feel this every time I try to go get my map. Would adjustments be possible? We'll be fundamentally changing stealth in 5.1 to include being ignored even while mounted. Oh, stealth while mounted, happy days. My main jobs are all battle related. Whenever a new raid is introduced, I ask others for help with melding materia. Overmelding. However, the success rate is purely based on luck, so there are times when it requires a good amount of time for the melding, and I feel bad for the person helping. Can you consider adding this feature so we can do them through NPCs? No! Stop trying to take the MMO aspect out of the MMO. Not sure what you're looking for, but we're considering further ways to make overmelding much quicker. Leveling up a craft, but if we are considering leveling up a crafter isn't too difficult, so we recommend leveling them up once the expansion has calmed down a bit. We understand that the fun of crafting is hard to convey. Okay, so basically, get good, level a crafter. Yeah, people need to stop asking this. I do not like the thought of taking away player interactions. Like people continually ask for things where it's like I don't want to interact with other people. Let this be single player, please. And that's just wrong. You're in an MMO. You can go through the story single player-ish, but for everything else, you have to interact with people. That's part of the fun. That's part of the game style. With the addition of more jobs, the main arms section of my armory chest is constantly full. Can you increase the amount of slots for the main arm? And possibly rings too. Server load, yep, okay. Basically, game data. I'd hate to see how that actually works behind the scenes. That's probably just a mess. But yeah, rings and weapons are kind of crazy. There are a lot of interesting pop-up dialogue boxes from NPCs, but they are sometimes hard to read. Would it be possible to change the display size? They're implemented in a way that they won't strain the rendering, and so allowing the text to scale would make it quite difficult in terms of the rendering process. However, I do think it's quite difficult to read, especially when playing at a higher resolution. So I do hope we can do something. Making them adjustable is difficult, but it might be possible to increase the size of them altogether, so we'll consider. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Increasing their size might be a little eh. I wish... I don't know, because I don't know if there's the way to make those appear in the chat box, but you could just, if there is, just make your separate chat box tab and just pull it up above your normal chat box. I love Fail. I would like to change my Scholar's Fairy to look like Fail. You never know, Fail will listen to your orders. They might refuse to heal you until you agree to solving riddles. That seems like a fairy thing and not a Fail thing. Fail is like really protective of us, so I think she would heal. That's a weird answer. Any plans to tell if an attack is physical or magical? They've already answered this. It would take too long to... Let's see. We've implemented this. If we implemented this, it would delay patches. Yeah. We often make last-minute changes, so if we change a magical attack to a physical or vice versa, we would have to display the information, and yeah. So they change what an attack is up to the last minute, so they don't want to delay patches. Please add a preview for battle voices in the character creation menu. We hear them quite often while playing, so I'd like to make sure I pick the one I want. Yeah, it'll take some time. That'd be really good. I can't believe that's not even an option, considering that's something you hear a lot. I often find myself ending up with a lot of equipment with low durability while leveling my jobs. Would it be possible to add a feature that repairs all items in my armory chest at once? Just repair your gear then. Like, I understand wanting the armory chest, or repairing all items at once. I get that. But just because you don't repair your items enough doesn't mean that just you could just use the question. You don't need to preface it with I don't repair my gear. Sometimes when I unlock a new action, I forget to add it to my hotbar. Please make it easier to tell when an action is already placed on a hotbar. Yeah, you can now add all the actions to your hotbar before you even unlock them. So that's all on you. That's a player responsibility thing, in my opinion. Plans for primal weapons for Gunbreaker and Dancer. Sorry, but we don't have the resources. Ooh, I don't know how I feel about that. They should at least get the Stormblood ones, I feel. That's weird. I don't like that. They should at least get Stormblood ones. I love the gear that the NPCs are wearing at Shadowbringers. Do you have any plans to add Y'shtola or the Exarch's robe? I personally want Y'shtola's outfit, so it'll be made soon. Okay, yep, that's normal. I would love to see the addition of dwarven furnishings for Lalafell. Should be possible, but let me make sure. I'm going to try to speed this up now because we've been going on for quite a while. Possible to remove the unique trait of rings? No. We do understand you'd want this, but then it'd become difficult to manage. That I think it'd be more likely just to remove a ring slot. I'd be all for removing a ring slot, to be honest. Are there any plans for housing in Northrend? Of course, it's going to get asked. We need our Ishgard first. Hard to say. We don't know what's going to happen until first. Please add a more variety of dyes. That would be nice, actually. But there's no way. This is related to the data transfer amount. Yeah. Check to make sure. Because depending on how they do their dye, how it works in the back end, like whether that's just a filter they apply over the parts of the gear that get dyed or not, would determine how easy it is to add more dye. Please add a Feaul minion. It'll be added at some point. He's glad that players liked Feaul. Weapon rack. Maybe, basically. I want my minions to roam in my house like they do in the Gold Saucer. Mentioned this before, yep, that they don't have collision detection, so that's not going to happen probably. Please make the purple trees and lake land available in housing. Should be possible. Yep, that's probably going to be in a treasure dungeon. Byakko themed kimono. No. Add the aesthetician to the Crystarium's Inn. Oh, I didn't realize he wasn't even there. We discussed this during development. As I mentioned earlier, the aesthetician is not a warrior of light's personal belongings, so we can't travel to the first. There were ideas of having Feaul cut your hair, but that requires skill and technique, so I don't think it would be possible. Please at least remember the source. I mean, that's just an inconvenience thing. Just have, like, the aesthetician's equivalent in the first. Just make a new NPC. That's weird. Please allow us to confirm the help text for the fairy actions through scholars' actions that activate them. This will be implemented. Okay, that's good. Instead of saying, like, this fairy action activates this effect, just say what the effect is. A lot of cutscenes in the side quest this time, and it really demonstrated the quest team's hard work. Do you have any recommended story side quest? The fairies in El Meg would be a repeat of the Moogles. I'm glad to see we managed to avoid that. The side quests I recommend check out are the one about the dwarf that can't properly greet. Oh, I love that side quest. You can't lally ho. That's really good. Okay, I'm glad he likes that one too. I wouldn't say that's my favorite so far, but I really like that one. Uh, Item level restrictions for leveling dungeons. Oh my gosh, that'd be so fantastic. We understand the issue and are discussing it. Simply setting an item level may create new problems, so we're trying to come up with a different solution. Problems? What? I mean, I guess they could do the item level trick, I guess, like they're doing for Alliance Roulette. But I don't really know. What's a different solution? Um, I mean, the only thing I could really think of, which I would hate it if they did this, would be a sync up, where they sync everyone's item level up to a minimum if they're below it. I'd really hate that, though. Because that would just mean people wouldn't have to get new gear. With the world visit system in place, it's harder to see hunts' actions. Furthermore, the speed at which they get taken down is faster, so it's hard to join casually. I'd say get a hunt LS. I've never... See... let's see. Let me read the answer first. Well, this may be an issue now. I think it will be gradually calmed down. Changing it to homeworld only wouldn't be the way to go about it. Yeah. The way I think about this is there's no way to do hunts. I don't know what people consider casually. Like, is casually something like, oh, it was called out, let me wait 5 minutes while I finish up what I'm doing and then go to the hunt? Oh, but it's dead. Like, these people pulled too early. Like, casually doing hunts, there's no such thing. Like, there's only a very small subset of people, in my opinion, that are considered hardcore hunters, who they'll go out and find the hunts, they'll make the trains, and they'll lead the trains. Everyone else is just in a hunt LS, and casually doing hunts is, okay, I'm bored, let's do hunts right now. And then you're like, is a train up? No. Okay, I'll wait until a train's up. And then you go when it's called out. Like, there's no such thing as, I got the call out, I showed up as soon as the call out went out, and I still didn't make it in time. That happens very rarely, and that's if you're loading slow. And I don't know, I very rarely have the problem of a single hunt being called out, teleporting immediately, and it already being dead. That's a call out problem, because by the time the call out went out, they were already killing it. Unless it was an ARR. But that's a whole other story. I would prefer a sync option, or for a hunt to gain life depending on how many people are in the zone. But that's not what they were talking about there. Oh, last question. I'm looking forward to the Alliance raid coming in 5.1, and I'm curious to see what kind of gear we'll be able to get. Also, will there be any chance that we'll see weapons as a reward? That'd be kind of nice. I don't mind it being pretty for glamour, but I want that katana shown in the art. Actually, I happened to check on the models for the rewards today. I provided some feedback, but they were very well made, and we made the decision to make the costumes wearable by both genders. Okay. So please look forward to it. A katana weapon would be limited to certain jobs only, so we haven't planned for them at the moment, but we may consider it if highly requested. I think we'll have a guest for us with the 5.1 live letter to talk about Yorha, so please look forward to it. Yeah, I'm actually super excited for the 24, man. And the glamour that'll come with it. Alright, so that's the live letter part, 53 reading. I thought it was a really good one. They talked about job changes right up front. 5.08 and 5.1 were getting some job changes. And then they just went through a whole slew of things. There was only, like 3 or 4 bad questions in there. So, overall, really good. Excited for 5.1. Excited for changes. Hopefully other jobs get to feel better when playing. But otherwise, I guess that's it. So, as always, this has been New Caliber. Thanks for watching. Give me your opinions on what you thought of the live letter. Anything that you thought they should have addressed. Anything you thought that they're missing. Um, yeah, just leave that down below. Catch you guys later. I'll be over streaming on Mixer. I decided to take that change of pace and just try Mixer for a second. I'm actually, I like the layout of it, so I'm going to stick with that for a bit and see what's up. All right, have a good week, and continue enjoying the Moonfire Fair. Peace.